Hey there, and welcome back to Wonder Frontiers. This is episode number 2, and today's episode is going to be a brief one. It's going to be very similar to SM Wolf's update style videos, if you're familiar with that. And that's because this park has a lot of detail that's been added since the last time I've seen you. Before we go into that, though, I almost want to give you a huge thank you for the success of the last video. It's at over 5,000 views right now, and I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers as a result, which is awesome. I never thought when making this channel I would even get close to 1,000 subscribers, so more on that later. That's really exciting, but I just want to kind of jump in here and show off some of the details I've added. So I'll get to comments in the last video, probably the next day or two. I'm going to be at the airport tomorrow. I am going on vacation for about a week, which is another reason why I'm doing this video, as well as right when I get back from vacation, I'm going to be working for 7 days straight, so I'm not going to be touching my computer for about 2.5 weeks. So I just wanted to give you an update and kind of show you what's going on. So anyways, let's jump in here, looking at our ticket booth and our new exit flow points. So on the right and left side, we have exit flow points that, just kind of blend in with the building. I think it does a great job and blends in with the environment, like this giant oak tree. Like, you can't really tell it's there. So I love that. The fence kind of continues along the side of the path there, and it's really starting to feel kind of like a Cedar Fair park a little bit, which I can't complain about. I love it. It's like an actual park right here with all this shade. But anyways, onto the new stuff. So we have these chain queues on both sides. You can see over there. And it leads you right to the ticket booths, as you would see commonly back in the day. These are two-dimensional. I didn't make an interior, but because I wanted to throw in as many as I could. So I have 7 here on each side. So we have 14 total stalls. Here you can see these lovely 1980s prices. $10 for a ticket. Man, I wish. Now you're paying like 60, 70 bucks for a day pass. But man, the annual pass, that was a new thing in the 80s, primarily led by Disney. And I decided to make Wonder Frontiers the first park that would ever happen, 1981 or 1980, whenever this park would open. Probably not super realistic that a regional park franchise with their second park ever introducing this to be first. But, why not? Let's be creative here. So jumping out of there, I do want to make a comment briefly on the entrance. I started working on the brick arches specifically. Let me fix my view here. You can see this blends a little better, but I still need to go through here and fix the pieces to make it line up a little better. And I forgot to do it on the front of the entrance. So you can kind of see more what it used to look like and what it looks like a little bit now, but still needs improvement. So I'll do that eventually, just to kind of get that on there. I don't even know if I'll update that in the future. If I get it looking nice, I will. But this is ideally more what it's going to look like right here. You can kind of see it blends in pretty well. So there's that. On to the next thing. We have now we have stroller rentals and as well as wheelchair rentals. So I got these off of the workshop here. They are definitely not wood, and Wonder Wheel, as you can see, direct homage to Coney Island. And then here's another age-appropriate stroller, definitely not wood. I had these 90s looking one that had more fabric looking, and it had an arch and stuff, but I looked at strollers back in this. I was not alive in the 80s. I was born in the 90s. But these are definitely not like the strollers I had. The ones I had were more rounded and more fabric based, but these seem to look like pictures that I found. So I'll probably add some trim and some details in here just to, spice it up a little bit. It's pretty boring at the moment, but it's also just a rental section area, so I'm not too worried about it. Hello, thanks for waiting. Before we go to the sides here, I want to show off this fountain. And this fountain is a direct inspiration from the old Carowinds entrance. They used to have a big fountain right when you walked in the park, and I loved it. I loved it so much. There's not really anything like that anymore at Carowinds. But I wanted to go ahead and just kind of copy that direct idea. I use the symmetry tools with the motor that you can use. I mentioned that in the first episode. That was my first time using it outside with the planters that you can kind of see here. So I decided to do that with both fountain outside and here, and it's just lovely. Between the marble pieces, the end pieces, and the fountains, I use symmetry tools for all that. And it just turned out so nicely. I recorded a time-lapse of all this, but I decided that this is going to be the best method. If you're interested in seeing that, I can throw it at the next update video. But we have these lovely trees kind of showing the plaza, and we have some foundation here for our newer buildings that we don't see yet, and I'll get to those more in a minute. First, I want to go ahead and show you this restroom, because I think this restroom is going to set the tone for what all of these buildings are going to look like. So it has this colonial vibe to it, the colonial feel to it. These columns are completely custom. I made them out of art shapes, and I am incredibly happy with how they turned out. The details on the bottom here look fantastic, and the brick pieces actually blend in really well. The only piece that's not custom are these little scroll pieces, and that's from the Greek pit, or the mythological set, excuse me. I don't know why I said Greek pit. I love the details on the trim here. It's looking really nice. I want to change the font here, but I'm not totally sure what yet. I want it to look like it's engraved, but yeah, well, I'll play around with it a little bit more in the future. We can see here the signs don't match, so I do need to change those. Oops, I thought I did that. I must have not saved it by accident. But just pretend with me that that's correct. We also have these little Planet Coaster Easter eggs here with these awesome water fountains that I found in the workshop. I've been using them for a year now, I think. That's like one of the first workshop pieces I downloaded. We have those on either side with King and Queen Splash and Coaster. But anyways, yeah, that's definitely the vibe that we're going for this Main Street. Definitely a colonial America vibe, very Boston, Massachusetts, like that kind of feel. So this whole park's gonna be very Americana, and that's very much setting the tone for it. So over here we have a first aid center right by the exit. I forgot to show the exit off on the other side, but it's nothing too crazy. But there's the exit. So now we have 4 exit points, which is awesome. Back to the first aid center. I'm going to change the sign to not be wood, because I think that looks, quite frankly, terrible. And I'll probably elevate that first aid plus sign up a little bit. These trim pieces are basically actually this whole building is basically directly stolen from Six Flags America, and same for that bathroom. It's very, very inspired by. This one's very copied by. This is almost a direct copy other than the spire that's in the middle. I couldn't quite figure the spire out, and that's fine. So I'll come back and do those edits later. You'll see those in the future and just kind of clean that up. I'm just now seeing that little trim missing there. So I'll clean this up and get that ready for the next update. Let's go ahead and exit out of first person mode here and kind of get more of a bird's eye view of this entrance. So what I'm kind of thinking right now is we're going to get 2 workshops. One's going to be more of an emporium, and the other's going to be more of like a t-shirt, or not t-shirt, but this is like a all-purpose gift shop with interiors. So these both are going to have fully functioning interiors. I'm toying with the idea of making one a restaurant, but I don't think you need, like, there shouldn't be a restaurant right next to the entrance. So we'll probably get our first our restaurant probably over here or over here, and then we'll have maybe like a food stall like right in here, and kind of just go from there. I'm not totally sure. Definitely give suggestions down below what you think should be here. I think like a dessert place, like a coffee shop and a donut place would be really cool. So I'm kind of leaning towards that for these small areas right here. And this is not the final layout, but we'll probably go with something like that. As you can see briefly here, we have a behind the stage area. I don't have the gate up yet because I don't have the exterior built. Once I get that done, I'll have that there. Probably have like a dumpster and some other small details in here in the future. But that's about it for this section, and I'm going to add a backstage area over here once I start working on this area, which I'll get to in a second. But as you can see, we have these lines kind of going through that point you in the direction to the different frontiers. So first area that we're going to have is going to be like a Wild West kind of feel. Think Jamestown, like that kind of old school Western feel. Almost actually more like, it might be Wild Frontiers. That's another thing about it. The Cedar Point Western area. I wouldn't call it a Western area. Not Mean Street's Western area. That's actually their Western area, but like their frontier area, which is like walking past Millennium Force. Think more like that old school, like log cabin kind of feel. That's definitely what I'm going for this area. This park layout is going to feature a donut shape. So it's going to be a big old circle. You're going to walk through here. You're going to go through the family area back here, and then you're going to walk over here, which is going to be more of like an American boardwalk-ish kind of area. Not directly a boardwalk. Think like Kings Island boardwalk, where the racer is at. I'm going for more of that kind of feel. And I'll get into this more in a second, because you can see there's a lot more that I've added to the Dixie Daredevil. So first I want to show off this real quick. This took me a little longer than I wanted to, but I absolutely love the way it turned out. It has this kind of wave ribbon feel to it on both sides. One to Frontiers. And I made this when the Cubs were beating the Brewers, so go Cubs. Good vibes attached to this. The last thing I have to say about this entrance plaza is there's going to be a small amphitheater right here. And I'm not sure on the sides what's going to happen yet, but there's going to be a big old stage here, as I mentioned in the first episode. I'll probably extend this a little bit more just to give, more surface area to put like chairs for bigger shows and stuff. But it wouldn't be Nashville without music being front and center at this park. Now, obviously, we're competing with Ospreyland, so having music right there, having national musicians playing is kind of a big pull of this park. It's not the main focus like it is at Ospreyland, but we definitely are competing with them, so we want to focus on having some spots for live music. So wouldn't be Nashville without that. So I think that being a centerpiece is great for this park. That'll probably be update 4 or update 5, depending on if I finish this by the time update 5 comes around. So anyways, moving on, one more thing to show off before we get into the boardwalk-ish area. That's just a little pond. It's so adorable. I love how it turned out. It's a little fountain feature. I love that how the water moves with your X tools here. I can do this kind of thing and shift it all and the water moves. It's really awesome. I know it's simple, but the other thing is you get a really great view of the Dixie Daredevil right here. It's a really great photo op. I just missed the train, unfortunately. The other times I've recorded this video, yes, this is my third time doing this. I had a perfect synced up moment, so boo. But anyways, yeah, you get a really great view there and of this whole area once this area is finished. Just kind of showing off the simple landscaping here. It's very simple, but really effective. And that's kind of the theme I'm going for with a lot of the landscaping in this park. Those can really eat up a lot of shapes. Here, we can go ahead and get that nice little photo op moment. Such a fun looking ride. There it goes. We gotta love aerodynamics. All right, anyways. Just giving you another view here, a little bridge, a little arch bridge going here. It's a faux bridge, it's fake, but I think it's charming. It looks nice. And guests aren't really there's nowhere they can see that other than like right here, and you're not gonna be paying attention to that anyway. So anyways, now that we're on this part of the park, this is the last section of this update. Really quick, I guess I can go ahead and show you this merry-go-round real quick. I got this from the workshop, and it's kind of the inspiration for this area, but I am gonna kind of customize this and make it my own. This is just the actual design that I got from the workshop. I haven't changed anything of it. So I'm going to change colors and all that kind of stuff. I might get rid of this piece and add a spire here. Who knows? We'll get there eventually, but this is just kind of giving you a tease to what this area is going to look like. It's going to have a lot of open air. I really want, the Dixie Daredevil being the flagship ride at the park. I want it to be kind of front and center. So we're going to have a lot of open pathways, not a lot of trees. Just really great photo ops, some fence lining here to go along with the corkscrews. So it's going to get you nice and personal. So you'll see that probably in the next update. Lastly here, change my camera mode. Lastly here, we have a new backstage area added. So I have not started with theming yet, but I have the backstage area going here right next to the highway that is still unfinished. So this is a maintenance road that I'm not entirely sure where it's connecting yet. I'm assuming it's probably going to connect or go around the park. I'll probably have it end up going around the park, but also have a connection point to the pathway system here. But these warehouses are directly stolen from Bubbly Beach Adventure Park, and then I modified them to connect them. So 1, 2, and 3. Now, we didn't have 3 in Bubbly Beach Adventure Park, but we have 3 different gates here. This whole area is going to be the landscaping team's area. So we have this shed right here, a small shed, and then we have these warehouse spaces. So I'm going to add some backstage elements like shovels and other things that you kind of see over here and some over here. And then also over here. I do want to add a greenhouse. I'm not sure where that's going to go. I might end up taking this oak tree out and putting it right here. But I also kind of like how much tree coverage is right here. Especially when you're on the ride. It kind of feels like you're in the forest and you don't really see this pathway or the highway. So it kind of feels like you're in a different area. So I might keep that here and maybe put the greenhouse down this way. I'm not totally sure yet. I'll get there when I get there. I do want to show this off just a little bit. I stole this directly from Oakenbane or Behemoth. It's from the workshop, but I ended up changing the colors and putting the same 3 here. This is from the workshop as well. I did some modifications to it just to kind of have it blend in color-wise with the area. But you can kind of see some of the doohickeys here. This is the kind of stuff... Doma Labs, this is my first time seeing that. This is the kind of stuff you're going to be seeing once I add a little more details. This fence is really janky. Here's one of the details that you're going to see. This fence is really janky, but I love this support kind of, you know, breaking through here. I love this fence. It's just like a wooden trim. Yeah, resort wall decoration wooden trim piece, and I'm using that throughout this entire build right here. It just looks like that janky cheap theme park fence, which is quite contrasting, excuse me, to the fence that's being used over here at the entrance. Yeah, I think that's really about it. You can kind of see the helix piece right here, how it's, you know, keeping your eye off of the backstage area. And I might add a little more, you know, detail right here. Maybe add some bushes or some flowers or something. Not really sure yet. We'll see. The last little detail before I start doing themed elements to this is the transfer track. I need to do a little more research on aerodynamics transfer tracks. This one is based off of loosely Carolina Cyclone, just from a couple POVs that I watched. The only thing that's missing from that is there's a piece that basically dips underneath the station for storage. Not sure I'm going to do that, but that's where I'm saying I need to do more research on aerodynamics to see how their transfer tracks are. I'll watch a couple more videos, so this will probably change, and we'll go from there. But if you have suggestions on this, yeah, shoot me some comments underneath below. Just let me see that. I think that's all I got. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out here just to give a nice little overview of the project. It's really turning out quite lovely. I'm really having a blast with this project. It's a lot of fun, a lot of details, and this is definitely gearing up to be my favorite project ever. There's a lot more to do, obviously, but that's why I'm making these episodes. It's a mega project, and it's not going to happen in 1 week, 1 day, and it's going to be very spread out. So this is probably a little briefer than I normally would make. I probably will go back to making some time-lapse videos of the Main Street build and doing more update styles as we kind of do more stuff. I recorded time lapses for this, but I wanted to keep this video under 15 minutes. Hopefully I'm at that mark right now. I'm at 17. Solid. Sorry guys. But yeah, I'll keep this, you know, this outro brief. Thank you so much again for the successful first video. Let me know below what kind of ride you want to see. Well, no, we already did that. Boo. I guess what I'm really wanting to hear from you guys is, let's talk about the Main Street area and like what parks I can get inspiration from for that. I've been using Six Flags America, but I know there's other ones out there. So just shoot me details on inspiration and for where I should look for that. I don't have much more to say other than thank you so much for a first successful video on this series, and I'm looking forward to getting more out after my work, vacation, all that good stuff. So I'm tired of talking. I'm sure you're tired of hearing me yap, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you have a great day, night, or evening, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.